Hello and welcome to the first City of Caldwell podcast. I'm your host for today. My name is Bryan. I'm the Community Outreach Specialist here at the City of Caldwell. Our first guest today is none other than our fearless leader, Mayor Jarom Wagoner. Welcome, Mayor. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. It's great to be here and excited for these new podcasts that we'll be doing to get out to the public and to inform them of things coming up and the great things happening at the City of Caldwell.
Cool. There's actually three things that we want to cover today. I think the heartbeat behind this first podcast or this first just segment is for people to get to know you as a person. I'm with you around town at different events and functions, and people just they either know you or they don't know you. And if they know you, they might have some complaints about certain things. But I would love for the public to just get to know you as a person, see how you tick, and maybe we could talk about hot topics around the city and maybe some events or things that you have coming up that you wanted to highlight. But Mayor, first, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you grew up, where you grew up. I know some of the answers to this, but I think not everybody really does. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself that you'd like to share?
Yeah, no, that'd be great. So I am from Caldwell, grew up in Caldwell. So I attended Caldwell High School, graduated class of 1995 with Caldwell High. And yeah, just really was entrenched in the community from a young age. So my dad was really involved in the community. He was a member of the Rotary Club, president of the Rotary Club for a number of years. And obviously that's one of the great service organizations we have here in the City of Caldwell. And with that, he would involve me and my brothers and sisters in that. And so I remember many times growing up here in Caldwell, going to the Caldwell Night Rodeo, working in the Rotary booth, some very hot nights and very long nights. As part of Caldwell High School as well, I was a member of the Key Club, and we did a lot of service organizations with that, and that involved a lot of the events going on in Caldwell at the time, again with the Caldwell Night Rodeo, and working at the chuck wagon that they had and still do today, and raising funds for Key Club and other organizations. So always really been kind of entrenched in the City of Caldwell and what they do here, and it's been fun to see the growth in the city. I know when I moved here to Caldwell when I was very young, below 20,000 in population, we just surpassed 70,000 people population. And so it's been kind of neat to kind of see those changes on that. I did go away for a little bit, lived in Arizona for a few years while I attended college. I attended Arizona State University, got a degree in business while attending that college. Met my wife in Arizona, and we were able to move back up here to start our family. And so we've got 3 boys, and have a lot of fun with them. They're obviously in all of our local schools here, very involved in the community, involved in the sports scene, doing a lot of basketball and football, soccer. So I'm always out and about doing those things. But big, I guess, part of me kind of looking into who I am and what kind of makes me tick, kind of like you mentioned, is again being involved in the community, but also being involved with the youth in our community. Very large proponent of empowering the youth, empowering that generation, and making decisions today that will affect our community and affect them obviously as they continue to grow and hopefully stay here in Caldwell and continue to make it a great place. So I know we're going to talk a little bit about some of those organizations later on in this podcast, but I'm very passionate about the youth and involving them and making them a big part of their community.
Cool. I think some people don't know that you actually used to be a business owner in Caldwell. Can you tell us more about that really quick?
So yes, I was. So kind of my background before being mayor, I worked in different government jobs, kind of as a planner, land use planner, transportation planner, worked as a consultant for those things as well, and then also as a business owner, which I think is some great insight. Sometimes when you are working in the government in those type of positions, you don't realize some of the rules and regulations that you pass or require and the effect that it has on a small business owner or on the community in general. So it was nice to own a small business. So I started, it was a startup, Soda Burst. It was a small soda shop on the plaza and very successful. We had a great time doing that, my wife and I. Again, just started it from the ground up and just had some great success. We were the Flying M was the only one that was down there before us at the plaza, and so it was a great time seeing the new businesses come in and kind of just everything flourishing down there. But again, it kind of gives you a perspective that of what a small business goes through to trying to start up, trying to continue to maintain what you're doing and to grow your business. And so I think that's important for government leaders to understand. How does business work? How do things outside of government work? And so that's been a real plus for me, I think. And as we look at how do we advance the city, the rules and regulations we have working with our businesses, because we want them to flourish. There's a number of businesses that we've been able to work with and try to, look at our code and the issues that have come up and make sure that it's not too stringent, but still enough to provide the atmosphere we want for our businesses to flourish. And working with those business owners and always being willing to have an open door to talk and to see if we need to change something, then let's look at it and take that under consideration. So it was a great experience, enjoyed it. My boys, maybe not so much because I worked them very hard down there, but it was good for them to understand that, and I think they appreciate it. And I tell them, when they go out and get other jobs, they're going to be at the top of the list because they know how to work and how to get things done.
Cool. And speaking of your boys, why don't you tell us a little bit about your kids and just like what home life kind of looks like for you?
Yeah, so we are a very active family. We just actually got back from Idaho Falls this Memorial weekend. I was unfortunately not able to be in town for the great festivities went on and honoring our veterans and that great day, Memorial Day. We were in Idaho Falls at a soccer tournament for my son. I have 3 boys, and ranging in ages from 10 to 15 years old. And so my oldest had a soccer tournament. He's really involved in sports and in that, so soccer and basketball at Ridgeview High School. My next one also involved in sports, football and basketball that he does going into Ridgeview High School this next year. And then my youngest does a little bit of everything, is what I tell people. So he does soccer, he does basketball, he loves football, he loves golf. So very active in all of that. And so we have a fun home environment. We, like I said, love to be outside. We love to go camping, be in the outdoors. I love to take my boys hunting, creating memories out there with them, doing that. That's how I grew up with my dad. And a lot of the memories I have from my youth is when I was out in the wilderness with my dad, whether it was hunting or fishing or whatever it was. And so try to instill that in my boys as well, knowing that, there's only a few things that they're going to remember from their childhood. And I know for me, what I remember most is those times with my dad out in the mountains. And so try to take opportunities that we don't come home successful very often as far as, getting something, but we always come home successful with creating memories and just having that opportunity to be together as father and son. So my wife, we've been together, married for just over 22 years. As I mentioned, she's from Arizona. I met her down there when I was going to school. And she was more than willing to get away from the heat and the bustle of Arizona, Phoenix, and to come up here. And she loves, Idaho just about as much as I do. So.
And speaking of pastimes, I think people don't know that. They might not know that you played basketball in high school, and then I think you did some golf too, right? Is that right?
So I did. So I played for Caldwell High. I ran cross country for Caldwell High School. Played basketball for them as well, and on the golf team, and then also the track team my last year. So did all 4 sports. Was at Caldwell High School and really enjoyed basketball. Is probably my greatest love when I was in high school. That's why I ran cross country. I don't enjoy running long distances for fun, but it was a great way to get in shape for basketball. So that's what I did, and it worked for sure. I remember those first few practices. Some of my former teammates actually still here in town. Will Gigray, he's one of our wonderful firefighters here at the city. And I remember those first few weeks of basketball practice, conditioning, and the coach would have us run ladders and sprints, and most of the team was just winded after 1 or 2, and I remember that wasn't even a warm-up in cross country. So it worked out really well on that. But yeah, I really enjoyed being active in my high school in the sports and the other programs that we were a part of.
And I think you're still playing basketball now, right?
I do. So I try to stay active as much as I can. So I try to play usually about 2 or 3 times a week that I play in the mornings with some older folks like myself so that I can keep up with them. But yeah, have a great time with that and try to stay, like I said, active and all those things. And looking forward to taking up pickleball soon. I haven't played yet, but I've been meaning to. And I know we have our courts that'll be opening up Within the next month should be. So we're excited for that. I know there's a big following of pickleball here in the community. So I've been waiting to be at that ribbon cutting for that when that can be my first time to play pickleball. So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
get it taken to me from some of those great pickleball players out there.
One last thing I kind of wanted to talk about when you were talking about this and mentioned it was the fact that you speak Spanish. People don't know that about you, so I want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing that I take a lot of pride in is that I do speak Spanish fluently. I lived in South America for a few years and obviously learned it while I was down there and still continue to use it to this day. Caldwell, we are a 38% plus population of Latinos and Hispanics here in Caldwell. And so obviously that's nearly half of our population. And a number of them some of them do not speak English, and so it's great to be able to have that and to be able to speak Spanish to reach out to all of my constituents, here in the city of Caldwell. And I take great pride that we are a very diverse population, that we have a great number of Latinos and Hispanics here in Caldwell, and to highlight that heritage. And I know that's been a big part of us, is how do we highlight the heritage that we have from our Hispanic population and be very inclusive in that regards and including them. And there's been some great new businesses that have opened up. I know Ajuda Financial is one recently that has come up from California, and that really kind of focus on providing financial assistance, financial help to our Hispanic population, and it's been neat to be a part of that. I always promote the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce any chance I get, any ribbon cutting I go to. I love our Caldwell Chamber of Commerce, the great things that they're doing there. But I always ask people, okay, it's great that you're part of the Caldwell Chamber, but are you also a part of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce? And so I think that's just really important to kind of be inclusive in that. So always encourage people to look into that and to do that. It's pretty cheap to do that and be a part of that. But again, I think it's an important part with our culture, what we have here in the city of Caldwell.
Cool. I'm going to segue a little bit. So let's talk about different topics that kind of come up, continually, as far as maybe hot button or hot topics for people. So what are some main things that you get asked a lot about, and maybe people out there, they might be thinking this, or maybe they ask a neighbor, or they maybe at city council or something. What are some things that kind of come up on the regular?
Yeah, so there's a few things that always seem to pop up on that. One is perhaps what's the next big thing in Caldwell. Indian Creek Plaza was phenomenal. That was built a few years ago. The daylighting of Indian Creek that happened about 10 plus years ago, was huge for the Caldwell and setting up where we're at today. And then the plaza coming in and opening up, it's been 5 or 6 years now, which is hard to believe. But that's been a huge draw. And so, what's next for Caldwell? And so there's a lot of great things in the pipeline coming into Caldwell, and continuing to enhance and add on to our downtown environment, the great things we have going on down there. Parking does come up, so we're definitely looking at a parking garage, the right location for that. We've looked at a couple different spots, and so trying to figure out where's the proper place for that, providing the adequate parking for the events happening downtown. A boutique style hotel in our downtown as well, working on that, looking towards that. So just continuing to add more draw to our downtown to bring people down there. And so that's kind of a question, is what's that next big thing? And so I think our downtown is going to continue to flourish and to bloom. Getting some conference space downtown also is a big deal, to bring in some conferences and conventions into Caldwell, which brings a lot of money and a lot of dollars when people come for those events. They're spending money on hotel rooms, they're spending money at restaurants, at the other boutique shops that are downtown. And so that's a big draw, especially because that's out-of-town money coming in. So we love that. Another thing that it's often brought up is, our wonderful swimming pool here in the Caldwell community that provides great attraction for the residents here. And it's been down for the last couple of years. People wonder why it's not open. There was a safety issue that required us to close it, unfortunately, and has not been able to be fixed as of yet. It was really, unfortunately, bad timing when that went down. It was right when all the prices due to COVID were just going excessively high. Materials were difficult to come by, and so that increased the cost literally threefold from what it was originally planned to be. Came in 3 times higher than what the plan was for that. So we had to kind of put the brakes on to make sure we were doing the right thing. We want to provide recreation activities for our citizens, but we also realize it's taxpayer dollars to pay for that. and so we want to be wise with that money. So we kind of put the brakes on, kind of regrouped for the last year or so, and we're actually looking to try to get it open. It would be wonderful for next season. Don't know if it'll quite be there, but we'd be going out to bid again soon to fix what's there right now and try to get it up and going. And then also looking at a phase 2 where we can bring in some water slides and other activities like that to kind of enhance to what's there. But definitely in the works. I want to make sure people know that we haven't forgot about it. Just kind of the timing with it, but we look forward to hopefully starting something this fall would be fantastic. That'll be presented to City Council as part of the budget process this year. And then touch on just traffic real briefly. I know construction, traffic has been an issue with a lot of people, a lot of concerns on that, and we understand that. We experience it, obviously, as mayor. I live in Caldwell. It's part of my community, so I experience the traffic just like everybody else, and it is frustrating to everybody, myself included. It's kind of just been an unfortunate heading of everything coming in at once, needing to get projects done before some urban renewal money went away from us. We didn't want to lose that funds. And then also with some ITD projects going on that just happened to be right together with what we're doing. So it was an unfortunate tsunami effect of everything happening at the same time. But the good news is once we get this done, we should be caught up for projects for the next few years. Rather than having a new project every year for the next 3 years, trying to get it all done at this time when there's other closures that are related to other entities. And so looking forward to moving in that direction. By the end of this year, we should be looking really, really good on that. So excited for that. And then last, I'll just touch real briefly on is our airport. The airport, the Caldwell Airport recently had a name change. We're now the Caldwell Executive Airport. And there's been some great things happening out there. So a lot of people want to know what's the buzz with the airport. That's a great asset that's been, I think, overlooked for a number of years. And we're trying to really continue to enhance that and make it just a real jewel for the community and a real bonus for what we have going on in Caldwell. Part of that is we are looking currently for a director of aviation. That's a new position we recently created to try to enhance the airport and get it up to where we want it to be. So those applications are still open. We're going to be doing our first review of those next week. I know we've had a few people apply for that and hope to get a few more. And so really looking forward to adding to that and bringing that back into play and continuing to improve our Caldwell Airport.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. One thing that I know is near and dear to your heart is the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. Can you tell us what's your hope for that group? What's your, maybe just tell us what it is, what kind of students are in it, how to get into it, and some of the stuff that we do throughout the year.
Yeah, so Caldwell MIAC for short, Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. There's a few, MIAC organizations across the state, but I'm a little biased, but I believe ours is far and away the best that's out there. We have some phenomenal kids that are part of that. So the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, MIAC, is made up of youth in the community from 8th grade through seniors in high school. And we meet throughout the school year. We do some functions throughout the summer. Those are more, working the Caldwell Night Rodeo. We have a few other fun events that we do, kind of some fundraising for the organization. It's all about involving the youth in their community, getting them engaged, whether it's a service project, working the Caldwell Night Rodeo, working the College of Idaho football games, and just teaching them what it means to be kind of a civil servant and be involved in your community. And so those youth are always encouraged. We do have regular meetings during the school year, the first and third Wednesdays of the month. And we tell kids, you don't have to be at every meeting to be a part of MIAC. Come when you are. We understand kids are busy these days, whether it's with sports or in jobs or whatever it may be. We'll take you when we can get you. And when they come, they just love it. We have fun games. You, Bryan, are a big part of that. And he helps to lead that and to do that. And it's just, kids have a great time when they come. And, I tell them it's great for, if you're looking to go to college, it's great for college applications. It's great on scholarship applications to show that you were involved in your community and those things. And we even have actually a scholarship through MIAC that we do and award to many of the kids that go through our MIAC organization. We have maybe 3 really big events each year that we do. We do a spring a spring trip, I guess you could say, where we take everyone that's able to, and we go to different places somewhat nearby. This last year, we took 30 of our MIAC youth up to Silverwood and had a fun day at the amusement park up there, visited Coeur d'Alene. So we always incorporate a aspect of meeting with some local officials in the community, then a day of fun. So we went up, met with the City of Coeur d'Alene officials, talked to them about their city. The MIAC was able to ask them questions about how their city functions, different things like that. They learned some great things while we were up there. And then, the next day we went to Silverwood and just had a day of fun with the kids. And it's a great chance for them to get away and for us to be able to be away with them and just to get to know them better and really enjoy that. The other big thing that we do is in October of each year, a select group of individuals from MIAC, we take them and we go to Washington, D.C. for 4 to 5 days. We tour all the sites. They have the opportunity to visit and see all the sites of D.C. We meet with typically one of our senators and their delegation, delegates there, to kind of talk to them and what's going on from a national perspective and give our MIAC kids a chance to meet with them and to bring what's called a white paper, something that they think is important and needs addressed, at the national level. And it's just a great opportunity. And it's fun to see the kids, how much fun they have. I know this last year when we went, they were able to go to one of the the Washington Capitals, the NHL, went to the hockey game, and just kind of do some fun things that they normally wouldn't be able to do. And some that really nobody ever gets a chance to do. I know when we met with Senator Crapo's office this last year, they were able to give us a tour of the Capitol, and we were able to actually go in the tunnels underneath the Capitol building, getting around, which obviously you don't really have access to that if you're visiting DC. So I tell the kids it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to get to do stuff like that. And then third, I would just mention is the gala that the MIAC kids do. So that's their big fundraiser. We always encourage the local businesses to be a part of that, donate to that cause, because that's really what helps fuel the money for these organizations. So this is not tax-based. We do not use any property tax, any of the city budget for that. 100% of these funds comes from the money raised from the MIAC kids. So these fundraisers that they do, like the gala, working at the rodeo, and we do sponsorships with local businesses. That's what makes it possible to do these great things for these kids. So always encourage our businesses to be a part of that. The gala is really fun. We sell tickets, and it's a chance for these kids to kind of dress up a little bit and show off what they do and just have a great evening with food, with entertainment, auction items. And so that's just a lot of fun what we do with our MIAC kids.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
We have some pretty high-powered kids in there. I feel like we're pretty privileged to have them. I know this year we have a senior who is our vice chair that has a full ride to Columbia. We also have a sophomore becoming a junior this year who's our newly elected chair, doing his NASA internship this summer for a couple weeks, which is exciting. Really quickly, I wanted to talk about a few events that you have coming up. One of them are your community outreach events. So can you tell us the heartbeat behind that and the purpose, why we have those?
Yeah, so we started those when I took office. So we do those throughout the summer months. So basically from May through October, once a month, we go out to a different community within Caldwell and invite the neighbors to come out. And it's just a chance. There's really no agenda. We just want to meet the people. So it's always myself, a member of the city council, and then a couple of our appointed officials that come out. And then also, this last one was great. Many of our Mayor's Youth Advisory Council was able to come out and be a part of that. We invited Caldwell Fine Arts was out with us this last time. And so we bring different organizations each time. Our library brings their maker wagon out, their maker bus to different events too for the kids. And it's just a chance for the community to get to know their city leaders and to get to know kind of what's going on. And so it's been a lot of fun. We always bring a food truck with us, and that's always a big hit. So we feed the people when they come out. I know we felt bad this last time. We had such an incredible turnout, we ran out of food, and you hate doing that. And so our apologies go out to the great people at Cedar Crossing, I believe is where we were at on that. But they had just such a great turnout on that. It was so good to see so many people out and about. And that's what it's all about. It's just getting to know those community members, answering questions that they have. But we don't really do any speeches or anything like that. It's just mix and mingle. And we just get to know them. They get to know us. And we can answer their questions personally about what's going on in the city, issues, concerns they have. And it's been neat. We've actually been able to solve some issues and concerns that have come up from different people in regards to that, and take it back to the office and talk with those people that are in the know and get it fixed. We had that out last year with Castle Peak subdivision. We were out there. They had some irrigation issues. We were able to learn about, came back, talked with our water department, and kind of went from that. We were able to get that fixed. And so it just opens that door to those different communications for those people.
Okay. Last couple things would be, I think you have some fundraisers coming up. So can you just talk about those really quickly?
Yeah, so we do, this is another thing that we started when I came into office, is the Mayor's Charity Golf Scramble. And so that's a yearly event to raise money for a different organization, charitable organization in the community. And we're really excited for this year. September 8th is the date for that. And our charity this year is the Boys and Girls Club of Canyon County. Amazing organization that I've been able to be involved in, and just being able to see the change and the effect it has on the lives of youth, especially underprivileged youth that maybe don't have as many opportunities as other people, and how it can literally change their life and make them a productive citizen of society rather than the opposite, and giving back more than they're getting in return. And so we have that on September 8th. We're still looking for companies to step up and to sponsor that. We've had several that have, but still need more. And so we'd encourage those businesses in our community to be a part of that, knowing that 100% of the proceeds of the money goes right to the Boys and Girls Club for that great organization. So that's, obviously near and dear to my heart with that. And I enjoy golf. I grew up golfing at Purple Sage Golf Course. As I mentioned, I was on the Caldwell High golf team back in the day. So it's fun to be out there and be a part of that, and especially a chance to kind of give back to, especially the youth in our community.
Okay. And then I think one more fundraiser that's coming up is the 4th of July. We'll end with that. So can you tell us about what the 4th of July fundraiser or celebration is about?
Yeah, so 4th of July has always been a tremendous event here in the city of Caldwell. I remember growing up going to the fireworks show every year, and it really is top notch. One of the best in the state, if not the entire Northwest, I would say. And it's continued to expand and to grow. We have a wonderful parade through the downtown area, and then big festivities afterwards in Memorial Park. And last year, we kind of turned it into a fundraiser as well for our local veterans. And we thought, we've always had this great time and lots of fun, and people enjoy it. Let's see if we can't give back a little more than what we've done in the past. And I thought, maybe we could raise, a couple $1,000s to give to the Caldwell Veterans Memorial Hall, the donations went to last year. And we were beyond surprised and just impressed with our local community, business and community that stepped up, and we raised over $40,000 for them last year. And so obviously we want to match that and exceed it this year. And so we're really working on getting sponsorships for that. And so this year, going towards the Caldwell Veterans Garden, which is a phenomenal organization, what they do and provide for our veterans. And they've been working really hard on a memorial statue for Carrie French, who I think, as most of us know, was killed in action. She was a graduate of Caldwell High School, and so excited, to do something that would really honor her, and do basically a life-size statue of her down at the garden, I believe is where the plan is for that to go. And those are expensive, and it's going to take a lot of money. So we're really hoping to raise that money this year to help with the cost for that. And so really encourage all of our local businesses. I know there's been some that have stepped up and really appreciate that. And again, all that money goes right to those veterans and to those organizations. So that's a big deal. It's a great event. And so really encourage any businesses to be a part of that as well.
Great. Well, Mayor, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself, what's going on currently, and some of the just things that are near and dear to your heart and things that the city is trying to get behind. So thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. There's so much going on at the city right now. It's fun to talk about it. Caldwell is on the map, and it's a great thing. Sometimes people wonder about all the growth that we're experiencing, and it's a wonderful thing because people realize how amazing Caldwell is. That goes from our citizens to the community to our employees here at the city. It's just a very exciting time to be at Caldwell, and I know there's a lot of buzz about people wanting to come here and be a part of this awesome community. So just grateful to be able to kind of talk about it and show off a little bit of what we have and what we have to offer.
Cool. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.